Right, hello there. First time doing a video like this. I thought ahead of my new album coming out next Saturday, this could be quite a fun idea to do. Just to show you, how I make a track, how I come up with the idea of a track, my process of recording and producing, and then just a bit of mixing work and how I get things sounding where I want them to be before I then master it, which is a different process. So this is You Ain't Bringing Me Down. This is the second single, even though it came out a year ago, for my new album, Dreams Are Now Reality. So if you haven't heard it already, I'll play some of it now. You ain't bringing me down. Right, so there's the track. Get rid of that for now. This is the final master that I brought in to the session. So obviously when I'm going through it now, it'll sound a bit different because it hasn't, been mastered properly. I've just chucked a few basic plugins on the stereo out just to get it louder, basically, so it sounds normal. So bye-bye, you can go. So basically this is the session. This is what one of my sessions or projects will look like. I don't go too mad with too many instruments or channels. I like to keep it as minimalist and clear as possible whilst trying to make it, sound grandiose and cinematic, which is what I wanted to do on this album especially. Bit different than the last one. The last one was very stripped down and raw and dirty, but I wanted a bit of a softer feel for this album. So how I usually come up with a track is I've always got an idea of how I want it to sound, so I've rarely just load up Logic and just mess around and hope something happens. I always have some sort of idea on what sort of style I want or what sort of vibe I'm hoping to capture. So with this one, I just came up with I think it was in the shower where a lot of my ideas come to me. I think it was in the shower, maybe the toilet, don't know, doesn't matter now. It's a long time ago, almost 2 years ago I made this song. Anyway, so I came up with the guitar. So I just heard this sound melody thing in my head. I'll play it to you without any effects or anything on it. So this is what the session looks like. It's quite hectic, but this is what I came up with. So I just heard this. So that's basically what I had. And I decided to build a track around that idea. So I thought, wow, this sounds proper 80s, proper, that type of style. 80s American high school cringe type of sound. So I just found the melody that I was singing in my head and just inputted it and in MIDI notes. This is a MIDI track. So basically these are all notes. Did you hear that? These are all notes. So basically just messed around with the velocities, just making it sound as nice as I wanted it to sound. And then I had one going to the left and one going to the right, just to make it a bit fuller. And then I added plugins on. A plugin is basically something like this: an EQ, a compressor, a saturator, reverb, delay, anything like that, that helps you craft the sound that you're looking for. So without that, just sounds a bit dry. So I thought I definitely want to add some effects to that. So I added a bit of EQ, a bit of this plugin, which is brilliant. I love this plugin, RC20 Retro Color, just to add some distortion, a bit of noise, just to make it sound a bit more retro and a bit more in the vibe I wanted. So this is what it sounds like with the effects on. So a lot thinner sounding, because obviously I want to make space for the other instruments, and a bit more vibey as well. So I wanted to steal a little drum pattern that's been used loads of times, especially in 80s music. You know, it's kind of Adam and the Ants, Black Skinhead, and Everybody Wants to Rule the World kind of drum beat. So I just did this, programmed it through MIDI. I didn't use samples this time. And this is the drums. So that's, very simple drum pattern. You just got the kicks going bum 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 bum, and you just got a classic 80s sounding snare, just on the 2s and 4s, classic. So you just play them together. You can't go wrong with a bit of a bump bum 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 bum, just a classic drum beat. And then I just added a really simple hi-hat pattern, which is literally just spammed 116 notes with different velocities to give it a bit more liveliness, so it's not so static. And then there's just I think there's so on bus 4, the drums, there's some processing I've got on here, including this plugin, which I love, J37 by Waves. It's basically like a tape emulator. Well, they say tape emulator is still digital, but those of us who can't afford expensive analog gear, this will do. So it's just adding a bit of saturation there and making it sound a bit more retro, a bit more warm, which is what I was going for in this. So I thought, wow, okay, this is going somewhere, because I've got the drums now and I've got the guitar leads of that melody that I say I was just singing over and over and over. I thought we're getting somewhere, so this is what I got to. Just while I was listening to that, there is lots of schools of thought and advice out there about producing and mixing and arranging. For people like me who mix and master all their own music, as well as produce it and write it and sing and everything, a lot of people just get the idea of the track down and then mix it afterwards, totally separately. I don't choose to do that. I kind of mix as I'm going along. So, for example, the guitar leads, I thought they're going to be a bit too boomy in the mix, because I knew I wanted, obviously, synth bass in there. So I just mix as I'm going along. It saves me a lot of time. The only time I'll do that is if I really want to get a vocal idea down really quickly. Like, that's the driving part of the song idea. Because then I'll just lay a really simple beat down, or one instrument like a synth bass or a guitar, and I'll just record to that and then go back and build the track up from there. But this one started with the music before the vocals. The next step was the ARP. So I thought, what's a classic 80s sound? And a lot of tracks from that kind of era, especially with this type of dancey vibe, is an arpeggiator. So I just put these long notes in and short notes in. Basically, they're just long on their own. They're not arpeggiated at all. You can arpeggiate in MIDI, but it saves a lot of time just using an external arpeggiator like the one Logic has is really good. So I just put some bass notes down basically in G major, which was what the key of the song is. And then I added an arpeggiator. So it sounds like this. This is coming together nicely. We got ourselves a little number here. Added some, what they add on here? Some distortion, just some light distortion, some EQ, and this plugin, which I use quite a lot, is called Wider. It's actually a free plugin. I've had it for ages now. It basically splits a mono or an already stereo signal and just makes it feel wider and bigger. And unless you overdo it and go way out to the sides here, kind of in this range is fine. It stays mono compatible, which is, getting into the nerdy bits now, but that basically makes it so when it's played on a mono playback, say a phone or a mono speaker, it doesn't just cut out the ARP. It still keeps it when you collapse it down to mono. But when you have it on stereo, I love having, a really wide stereo wall of sound type effect on my songs. I kind of like that cinematic signature, I guess. So it's just a bit of a widener on there, just to bring it out to the sides a bit more and make room for the drums and the vocals. So that's the app. So we had all this, and I thought, this is turning into a little number. I'll play you that. So yeah, I thought it was coming together nicely. So obviously the thing missing from that is low end. And I deliberately left room in both the guitar and the arpeggiator here to make room for a synth bass, which I use on basically every track. It can be a different one sometimes, but usually, my go-tos are this one from Omnisphere, which is an amazing plugin. Virtual instrument is expensive, but I'd say it's the best you can buy, really. So the preset for this one is Beefy Moog, and I just added a bit of effects on it to get the sound I wanted. And that's how this sounds, just on its own. So the roots just the notes, just follow the root notes of the arpeggiator. So it's just very simple, very simple straight chords and bass notes, just, rounding off the vibe. So this is what I had with that. So, just very warm, wide, impactful, that's what I wanted. And I put all these things together, and I thought, yeah, we're on our way to a nice little 80s style dance number here. So I'll play that for you. So from there, I just wanted to add just a couple more layers. Not many. You can see literally it's just those instruments and these choirs playing. I like a good choir. again, I think this one is from, this one's from Omnisphere as well. Choir Full Ooze, which is an English adult choir apparently. I don't believe them, but never mind. So again, this is 1 pound hard right and 1 pound hard left. Just a bit of EQ to take out the lows and the highs, and this is how they sound. So yeah, very atmospheric, very, well, I guess they're in a choir, so a church choir, so it's angelic, you'd say, if you want to say that. These are buried quite far back in the mix. They're not obviously the main elements, so they're tin right down. It's just to fill the space out and just fill the track out. So I don't like to add too much. I'll generally just add instruments if I feel they need to be there. I'm not just adding loads of random instruments for the sake of it, just to say, oh look, there's 25 instruments on this 5-second part of the song. I save that for my kind of more deeper and expansive progressive songs, which there are a few of on this album. So we had all that together, and I thought, I think we got a bit of a track going on here. So I'll just play that for you. This is basically the full instrumental. So how many tracks is that? 13 tracks to basically fill out the song. I only added more on the little outro bit. Just added some extra drums and quite a cool piano-y type sound, which I'll show you a bit later. But basically that was the track. And I knew basically the whole track, 3 minutes and change, would be that kind of looped. And the good thing about having what you think is a solid loop that people won't get bored of really quickly is you can just arrange it by taking stuff out. Instead of adding, you can just take stuff out and then bring it back in whenever you want across a song. So we have like an intro chorus thing going on there. And then when it comes to the first verse, I guess you'd call it, we just take out the guitar, which allows the vocals to really come through. So we just drop from the chorus, full instrumentation, into the verse, which is a bit more reduced, take the guitars away, and it just gives that space to the vocals. So I'll play that. So when you take those bright, shiny guitars out, that's where the bass and the arp really shines, That's the foundation of the track right through it. That's that sound that pretty much plays through the whole track, apart from the little bridge section. So I knew once I had this kind of arrangement, which I decided on, it'd be quite easy to record to. As in record vocals too. Some songs are hard to record vocals to, just because they might be busier arrangements, they might be a bit less obvious chord structures or chord progressions, but this one I found, this will be easy to record to, and get something that sounds hopefully half decent. And then as the verse progresses, you just add instruments, take instruments out. The only time where that really changes fully is in this bridge section. So we drop from the second part of the first verse into the pre-chorus, I guess you'd call it, which again just strips back instruments and gives space and a feeling of, right, we're getting lesser here, and then you build back into a chorus. You know, just basic songwriting, really. So I'll play that. So then the choir obviously takes precedent here and becomes the main part of it. And then we drop back in. So that's basically the structure of the song. Not very complicated, not complex. But I find if you have a few, or in this case 13, really strong instruments, you can make them sound bigger then. They have more space each. They're not all fighting to get in to the mix, because you only have a certain amount of mix space. So yeah, I don't like to cram too many instruments in. Obviously some songs do require that, especially at the end of a big chorus or the build up at the end. I'll cram as much as the mix will allow me to. But for songs like this, I think the simpler the better. And just give each instrument, you know, its space in the field of the mix. So that's basically it. The only time it changes is towards the end of the track, where we kind of have that big build up again. So I'll play those bits on their own, which basically just rounds out the track at the end. So it's basically just two synth parts and this little jingly instrument. So it basically just goes up the scale of G major and goes along with the other instruments quite nicely, I think. So by the time we get to the end of the song, this is the instrumentation that we have. So I just thought that'd be a really nice way to end the song, because it's probably a lot longer, this song, than it really needs to be. But you know, I wanted to make the most of this kind of palette that I created. So I just wanted to, you know, bring it up and down, peaks and troughs, that type of thing, and just really do as much with this song idea as I could. And I thought that was a good way to round it up. At the end here, we've got this. I use this in quite a few tracks. You'll hear it in a load of tracks that you like and listen to a lot more than mine. But it's called a shepherd tone. You may have heard of this, you may have not. It's basically a sound which covers the entire frequency range. So it goes all the way from 20 hertz all the way up to, say, 18 kilohertz. So right the way through what humans can hear. And it plays the same tone, but as you listen to it, a really weird thing happens, and your brain tells you that the sound keeps going up and up and up in pitch, which of course it's not. You can look at it on a spectrogram. It is literally the same sound. But the more you listen to it, it just keeps going infinitely. So I find that as a really nice thing to add on a build-up or a crescendo, because it really just gives you the feeling of, oh, we're getting amped up, we're going somewhere. So this is what it sounds like just on its own. Yeah, great. Funny thing is, if you pause this video and rewatch that sound from different points, it'll start again. So from wherever you listen to it, start at the bottom and it just goes on infinitely raising pitch. It's not raising pitch, but it feels like it. So I think that's just I love checking that out, and I think it's a really great creative sound. Just subtly in the background, but it just makes you feel like you're elevating. You're going up and up and up. So this is what it all sounds with the shepherd tone included. So again, just very subtly in the back, not obnoxious. Just adds a bit of texture and a bit of energy, I think, to any part you want to put it on. So that is the instrumental. Didn't take too long to make at all. I think this is one of the first ones I did actually for this album. So you'll have to excuse me if I can't fully remember everything that went into it. But yeah, I made this about 2 years ago. So naturally, it was one of the singles. And I thought, it's got that single sound, quite catchy, horribly cheesy poppy, but still got that anthemic kind of soundtracky vibe, which is what I was going for on this album. So there we are. That is the instrumental. What we have now is the vocals. So I don't know if any of you heard me sing, but I can't really sing very well. I'm not an Aretha Franklin running around. I'm more of a drunk person in a karaoke bar at 4 a.m. in pop world kind of guy. But with the magic of technology, I can make it sound passable. Little bit of self-deprecation there. You do need to have some modicum of knowing what notes are. The verse here is this audio track, and I think we have a backer as well. I say backer. Basically, it's a plugin from Waves called Waves Harmony, and it allows you to use basically a vocoder to enhance and support your vocals. I think it sounds really cool. Some people say it sounds, too digital or auto-tuney, if that's a word. But I think it just adds a lot to a sound, especially my voice, which needs a bit of help. So I'll play you the raw vocals. Well, as raw as they can be. I do record and print with auto-tune, full transparency here. These are usually settings I go for. You basically just snap it to what key your song's in and sing, and anything you sing will be mapped to that key. It's not completely rigid. If you sing terribly, it will make you sound terrible. You need to have some sort of good performance going into it. So basically, this is how the vocal sounds raw, I guess. You get me high, you get me low, like I don't wanna know. It's just a one little moment. Everybody knows it, everybody wants it. So that's how it comes out when I record it. Not too bad. Then we have the effects. So I like to do quite a lot of vocal effects. I think that's where you can start to have real fun making tracks. I think that's where the fun comes. So first of all, there's this plugin called Smooth Operator by Baby Audio. Yeah. Cheap plugin, and basically it's a resonance tamer, I'd say, or a harmonic shaper. Some people can't. Basically, it listens to what you're putting into it, in this case, the lead vocal, and it just suppresses some of those harsh frequencies that don't sound very good on a song. So if your voice is a bit nasally, if it's too boomy, if it's too shrill, it'll kind of just balance that out. So this is what it sounds like just with that. You get me high, you get me low, like I don't wanna know. It's just a one little moment, everybody knows it. So it just makes it sound a bit livelier, makes it sound a bit more energetic, takes some of the horrible frequencies out. So that's what I just do generally first. Then we have the big vocal plugin that I use, Nectar 3. This is where I do the most of my sound design for my vocals. So we got gate, EQs, DSs, which take some of that sibilance away, and compressors. There's also a harmony module in here that I just add sometimes a lower octave to my voice, just to fill it out a bit and make it a bit more powerful. So this is what it sounds with and without that. You get me high, you get me low, like I don't wanna know. It's just a one little moment, everybody knows it, everybody. So we've gone there from having a not particularly great vocal take or sound, and put it into a space that sounds more professional and finished. So I just play around with everything in there until I get it how I want it to sound. So we got 2 EQs, compressors, that type of thing. I'll then go in with another instance of Smooth Operator, and this will just add the finishing touch to the vocal take and just make it sound as good as it can. So this is how it sounds with that. You get me high, you get me low, like I don't wanna know. Again, just subtle changes, a lot of mixing choices that I go through. Adding very subtle details. They're not, reinventing the wheel or massively changing things. They're just subtle things that when you add them together, creates a vocal that you're happy with. Especially when it's your own voice, because trust me, when I hear my own voice back, it's not the most pleasant thing to hear in the world. Also on there, then just finish the vocal off. I'll add just a mono reverb, which just adds, a bit of naturalness, a bit of space, and just puts it, in a pocket that I like in the mix. So this is what it sounds with and without that. You get me high, you get me low, like I don't wanna know. So again, not massively affecting the vocal at the moment with that. Just, adding a bit of flavour and making it sit in the mix a bit better. Then we come to the joys of bus processing. Yay! So a bus is something that you send an audio track, like a vocal or an instrument to, using one of these little circles, little drop-down things. And then you can basically control how much of this effect you want going to your vocal. So I've just got a delay on here from Baby Audio again. I like Baby Audio. Just some standard delay there, quarter note delay, and RC20, which works brilliantly on vocal buses as a reverb. So just a bit of distortion and a spacey reverb with lots of decay. So e.g. the reverb tail is long, it lasts a long time. And I'll just EQ that as well, so it's take out the lows. So by the time we got to this point, we're pretty much there in terms of the vocal. So I'll play that all together. You get me high, you get me low, like I don't wanna know. It's just a one little moment, everybody knows it, everybody wants it. So once we get to that, I'm pretty happy with how it sounds. Once I have that and I have one vocal sorted, I will then record the rest of the song. Lyrics I usually come up with on the spot. I'll do kind of scatting or just freestyling with the instrumental playing and just come up with melodies. So I'd probably be like, I'd start with that. And then as you're doing that over and over again, lyrics just come to you. You just think, oh, what would sound good? What sounds clever? Obviously, a lot of songs, I have a definite idea for what I want them to be about. I'm not a massive lyric person, per se, but I do like each song to have a kind of a story or a kind of a message, so it's not hard to work out what the message for this song is about. It's about not letting people get you down, or just being yourself and enjoying being yourself. So, You Ain't Bringing Me Down sounded like a pretty good hook line for this song, so I went with that. I'll play you, what can I play you? I'll just play that verse.
You get me high, you get me low, like I don't wanna know. You ain't bringing me down. It's just
Here's that backing thing I was telling you about, the vocoder. So it's just really wide, really soft, just, enhances the vocal, I think.
You get me high, you get me low, like I don't wanna know.
So it just sounds to my ears like, just soft. Sounds soft and lovely. It adds a really nice tone to the vocals. It's essentially adding a chord with your vocal. So it makes the vocal stand out. It makes the vocal more musical, a lot more musical. And it just brings it out in the mix a lot better. So this is them two together.
You get me high, you get me low, like I don't wanna know.
Again, just subtle. It's not meant to be the main thing in the mix. The main vocal and the drums and the bass are. It's just another added element that I like to use a lot. When I'm doing vocals, I like to do multiple takes and pick and choose the ones I like the most. So by the time we get to the second part of the verse, where it amps up a bit, we re-add the guitar, it's going somewhere. There's a few different layers that I've chucked on, so I'll let you listen to that.
I know it's been a while since you brought me down, but I'm jumping off the ceiling and I'm coming around. But today, you ain't bringing me down.
So again, just harmonies, just really simple, basic harmonies, and that ooh, a kind of droning, soft, poppy harmony. So yeah, that's my approach to recording vocals. That's pretty much it. So we've got vocals, we got the instrumentation, and it all plays together and sounds like a song. It's just building layers, adding stuff, taking stuff away, arranging, and a bit of mixing. So that's basically my process of going from nothing to a song. Some songs are way quicker to make than others. I can spend 6 months every weekend on one song and it's still not finished. This one came together pretty quickly. I had a pretty clear idea for how I wanted it to sound and how long I want it to be, etc., etc. So that's basically how I made You Ain't Bringing Me Down. Obviously you can hear this song. It's been out for a year. Who puts out a single a year before the album comes out? Hey, me. That's working life. Anyway, so that's the song. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Might do more of these, possibly. Now I've worked out how to do it. That's You Ain't Bringing Me Down. So thanks for tuning in to JGC YouTube. Thank you very much.